Hi everyone, I'm jumping on to share a little bit more about my air filter, air filters that I love, and I want to keep this super short. So I have a few points that I've put, and I hope I keep this really short. In 2018, August was super smoky, and I had a 6-month-old baby, which is why I remember, and it kind of stressed me out, and I wanted to get an air filter for my son's room. And I was in some groups and I ended up with an Air Doctor coupon code. And so I just bought an Air Doctor. I didn't do a ton of research at that time. I just thought it looks okay. And it was fine. And that was that. And then when my daughter was born, I wanted her to have an air filter as well. And I thought, well, I'm just going to buy another Air Doctor. I'm going to wait for Black Friday. But then as it came, and then I felt like, no, if I'm going to invest in it, I really should do some more research. So I looked at tons of different brands, and then I listened to tons of different podcasts. And I actually came across a Canadian brand called Jasper. And there were some key reasons why I was interested in it. First, the person that created this specific air filter for residential use and commercial use worked in the Fort Mac fires, if people that are local remember that, when it was really bad, however many years it was ago. And he was going in after the fact to deal with smoke damage. And they were bringing in these huge commercial air filters, obviously, to get rid of the smoke damage and do all this stuff. Anyway, so that's actually his career originally. And then he moved into realizing that there wasn't any great options for residential use for air filters. And he designed the Jasper. And some things that I like about it is it's super highly sensitive, more than the Air Doctor. It's not plastic, which I'm not a huge fan of plastic. And then you buy an air filter and it comes into your house and you have to air filter the air filter because it's off-gassing. So I like that it was not plastic. I like that it was Canadian company. And also the other thing was the owner was somebody I could actually talk to. And I got to ask him a ton of questions and compare the specs from many different brands, including the Air Doctor, which I was actually going to purchase again. And so he would send me Loom videos explaining and answering my questions. And it wasn't really about selling it to me necessarily. It was more informative. And so I looked at a lot of that research and I decided to get the Jasper, but I knew that the Jasper that I was going to buy was better than the one that I had in my son's room. And so, of course, I ended up buying two, which was fine because I kind of wanted one for our room as well. So I bought two. I put the Jaspers in each of my children's bedroom and I moved the Air Doctor into my bedroom. And then we lived life and that was cool. Some things I did notice about the Jasper in comparison to the Air Doctor was that it was way more sensitive to subtle change in contaminants within the air. So it would detect it faster than the Air Doctor, and sometimes the Air Doctor wouldn't detect it at all, which means that the Air Doctor would not turn on the speed of the fan to a higher level to actually filter the air in the same way. So that was kind of an interesting practical experience. What else do I want to say about that? And then this was the big thing. Last May, smokiest ever. I've never experienced smoke that thick. We had ash on our vehicles' roofs and in our backyard. It was bad. We all maybe remember this now from last May. And I had the two Jaspers running and I had the Air Doctor running. And the Air Doctor could not keep up in comparison to the Jaspers. The Jaspers were killing it. And I was super happy because when I put the kids to bed, I knew that their rooms were actually pretty much clear. And it gives you a gauge that tells you what the measurements are and what the air quality is. Is it excellent? Is it great? Is it good? Is it poor? Is it really poor? And it kind of goes through this spectrum. And they did have to work hard because it was super smoky last May long weekend last year. But the air ductor, like, it just wouldn't even compete. We had it in our room and it was fine. I was glad that we had it. Was it comparable in efficacy? No. Was it good? Yes, it still can work. It still was fine. Anyway, so in Black Friday last year, I decided to get another Jasper, and I waited for a little sale, and I wanted to get a third Jasper for our bedroom so that each bedroom had an air filter in it. And of course I was gonna do something else with my air doctor, and so I did get it. And so now, yesterday, super smoky again. Our house was like perfectly fine because we had 3 running, and this is more my husband's terrain, but I think we keep our furnace air flow running no matter what. Like, we keep it on 24 or 12 months a year, I guess, all day. And so that helps circulate the filtered air from the Jaspers so that actually it's not just in that room, but it starts to move through the whole house. And of course, how many Jaspers you might have could be dependent on square footage as well, right? More square footage, there's just more air to filter. So it just takes longer, or doesn't take as long. But our air quality in our house basically was excellent the whole time yesterday, even though it was quite smoky yesterday. And I was super happy with how they were barely having to kick on extra, but they were detecting smoke, and they would kind of turn on and turn off. They're also a lot quieter than the air doctor, even when they have to run at a high speed. Sometimes they're running at high speed, so they just get loud because they have to run at a higher speed. This is super long video. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what I think after having the smoke yesterday and having the Jaspers, solely focusing on the Jaspers and also observing how the air doctor responded in the smoke. I was really happy with it. The air doctors, I think, are less expensive, but I can tell the quality is not the same. They're also plastic. Yeah, so that is my story. I'm very, very happy with our house. Last year, I had lots of symptoms from an irritation from the smoke, even with the 2 air doctors or the air doctor and my 2 Jaspers. Like, my sinuses were swollen, my throat was sore, and yesterday I had 0 symptoms at all. I did not really go outside. I stayed inside, and I had 0 symptoms at all. And last summer I had a lot of symptoms. It was maybe more smoky, but I feel like for our house, it seems to be like fully able to do the whole house, which I'm happy about. So that's my story. If you have questions, let me let me know. If you lasted this long, thanks. And also, I don't expect anybody to last this long. This is like the longest video in the world. Okay, bye.